Denise, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you are here. If you are new and this is your first time here, big special welcome to you. I would like to remind everybody to go ahead and hit subscribe and make sure you tap the bell so that you never miss out on another video. All right, so today we're doing a pick a card. This is a timeless message. So wherever you are in the world, at whatever time you are seeing this message, this is when you have been drawn to this information. So this is for you. So the question today, we want to know more about your future spouse. So we're going to take a look. We're going to ask the tarot what your future spouse is going to be like and see what kind of insight we can get. What I'm going to do, I'm going to live shuffle and I'll be setting out 3 piles. Then I will invite you to select your pile. I will put timestamps in the description so that way you can bounce around and jump ahead as needed. And with that all being said, let's choose some decks, huh? We want to see what we want to use for future spouse reading. Why don't we use the Witch's Tarot? Ooh, and why don't we use Today's Journey? I haven't used that in a while. Let's do that. Ooh, and let's do a Mystical Manga Tarot. Woo, we got 3 good ones. All right, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and get everything going. So stay tuned. Okay, here we are. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to calm your mind. Think of the question, what will my future spouse be like? See where your attention is drawn and select your pile. If you need extra time, please feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, let's get started. Hey, pile 1, this one's for you. All right, let's find out what's going on for you. Looking at your future spouse. What is your future spouse going to be like? Ooh, okay. So we kick it off with our energy card. Our energy is the King of Wands. The King of Wands, this is who we want to be. The King of Wands, he is somebody who's very well-rounded, very charismatic, does well in terms of finance and career. Court cards often indicate a personality type. Not always, but often. So this card coming up is the energy card. This is saying great things about this person. Your future spouse sounds like, right, just from this energy card, is going to be very successful, very much of a leader, and again, charismatic. So really good on the emotional front as well as the physical life type of things like money and all that. So that is awesome. So your future spouse, I can see that you're going to be very, very, very happy at first. It looks like we've got our 10 of Cups here, so it looks like things are bliss when you first get together. Everything's looking fantastic. So your marriage starts off really well. And the reason I'm saying it that way is because I do think you might see some changes coming in. Again, it starts off well with our 10 of Cups. But then we're moving into an 8 of Cups moment with a 10 of Swords moment. So what this tells me is that at some point, it looks like you might be feeling like something's missing, or you might want more than you're getting in your relationship, or something to that effect. So you're looking for something more. And there you go. It's upsetting to you. We've got our 10 of Swords. Obviously, if you're wanting more, that's clearly upsetting. That's not like shocking news, but this is something that really is something like you're making decisions about. Now, I'm sorry, I guess you can't see that very well. You're making decisions about it, and you're kind of thinking that your past expectations and decisions are just not realistic anymore. It's not going well. Again, you're kind of looking for more, looking for more. So I say that this is a temporary thing. And the reason I say that is I don't know if you can see over here right now, but these two cards are in the middle, and we've got these two cards here, which to me, this is going to be a bookend here. So it's kind of sandwiching these. So that seems like an encapsulated event. So I don't think it's going to lead to divorce. I don't think it's going to lead to some terrible, dramatic kind of thing. In fact, I think it's going to do quite the opposite. It is going to help you to grow. We have the Empress. The Empress talks about growing things, growing projects, nurturing, developing. Well, if you had an issue with, whatever this is that made you feel like I need more, it's probably on the feelings front, though, something about how you're feeling. Maybe your partner, your spouse is not providing you with enough attention at that time, or you're not feeling those full emotions at that time, something like that. It looks like you guys resolve this. It's probably a communication issue. Once you get that communication kind of right back on track, that's when we're looking at our Empress moment. This is that growing thing, sense of energy. This card also pops up when we are having children. So perhaps a child is coming, and whatever was leading you to be feeling like something's not right, that successfully comes back around to the point where not only are you feeling good, you're feeling like, let's add to our family. So yeah, wow. Okay, so we're going to get a couple more. We're going to get a couple more. We want to expand on this. We will look at the outcome energy here in a minute, but first we're just going to expand. I want a little bit more on what is going on. All right, so we've got the shadow side. This is the devil. The devil's not the devil, so don't worry. There is not an evil thing in this card. Cards are all about symbolism, so the artwork and so forth. So what this devil symbolizes is that, the thing that causes you to potentially feel like you need more, or you're seeking more, or you're just not happy in some way. I think that's because your spouse is either addicted to work, might have a pastime, playing like racquetball with his friends or her friends on Tuesdays, or, whatever. Something like that is kind of stealing your spouse's time. He or she is busy or dedicating maybe too much time and making you feel left out, ignored, whatever. But that is definitely where I'm getting that from. And we're going to get another one. See what else we can find out about your future spouse. Oh, we got the King of Pentacles. This is really great because remember our energy card here was King of Wands. King of Wands. This is Pentacles. Pentacles is a different suit. This is the suit of physical, tangible things in your everyday life. So money, school, home, career, those kinds of things. This king, who is in charge of all of those pentacle things, is very stable. He's very secure. He is also somebody who's very wealthy and likes to give. So, ultimately, again, I'm going to stick with what I said in the beginning. I think that this is an event. I don't think it's going to lead you to divorce or anything terrible like that. I don't even think it's going to be a huge dramatic thing that, I'm leaving and I'm going to go stay in a hotel. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like that. I just think that you're unhappy at some point, and then once you, unhappy at some point, and I believe it's because your spouse is looking and going and doing other things and leaving you out, perhaps, or doing it a little too much, maybe addicted to work kind of thing. But once you talk about that, you're going to be feeling much better. You're going to get to your Empress moment where you're able to go back into that growth mode, developing that relationship, and you might even be looking at a child at that point. But our King of Pentacles says that this is going to all resolve and it's going to be okay. So let's do an outcome energy card. This is the middle of the deck. So this is my cut card. Ready? Let's find out. Go. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is all about speedy change. It talks about bracing for change. When you talk to your spouse, he or she is going to make the adjustments right away, and things are going to get back on track. I also get the real impression that your husband or wife is going to be very much kind of like a let me please you kind of person, not in a weird, annoying way, but in a I want to make sure you're happy and I want to make sure that you're good. And when you do have this conversation about, wow, I don't like whatever it is that's happening, I think that change will be brought about right away. I don't think it's something you're going to have to beat your head around or repeat often. I think once it's communicated, that's when things get back on track. Ooh, pile one. What do you think? Drop me a comment. I'd love to interact with you and hear what you're thinking. And also, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit subscribe. I never want you to miss out on anything, but also it really helps me out. So I would really appreciate it. Thank you in advance. All right, my friend. Thank you for letting me read for you. Hey, pile two. All right, let's find out what we can see here about your future spouse. Oh boy, okay. Wow. Well, your future spouse is definitely going to be making you feel like you've got a whole new lease on life. Definitely. All right, here for our energy card, we have 20, which is judgment, which is in this deck called awareness. So the judgment call card talks about feeling like you've kind of been resurrected, like life is good again. I can see the light. It's the clouds are gone. You're just feeling pretty good. So yeah, so this is a great energy card because we all want to get to that point where we're just feeling kind of like that relief kind of feeling. And it looks like you really did need it because we've got our Eight of Air, and the Eight of Air shows me that you at the time when you're connecting with your spouse, or perhaps maybe at some point in the marriage, you're just feeling kind of like trapped, feeling like you don't know what to do. This doesn't mean in your relationship. I don't mean trapped meaning like, oh geez, I can't stand being with you. I don't mean that at all. I meant just kind of having issues in life, whether it's about your job, whether it's just general life, whether it's some kind of depression or something like that. That's how you're feeling. And then we bring the breath of fresh air back in. Remember, that's our energy. So it is going to follow along with all of our cards. That means to me, your spouse is the one who's going to make you and let you know how wonderful you are and how great things are going to be, and make you see it for yourself. That is what somebody who makes us feel reborn type of thing would do. We also here have the Child of Air. This is the Page of Swords. Your future spouse, he or she, is going to really be a real strong source of what's the word I'm looking for? Seeing things in a different light, seeing things on a different wavelengths, trying to see things differently. Maybe that's what kind of snaps you out. Maybe you have the type of personality that makes you kind of depressed, or maybe you're feeling like, gloomy or, negative in some way. Maybe it's an event. Maybe it's just your nature. Not sure. But either way, this person, your spouse, is going to change that. And how are they going to change that? We're going back here to our Page of Swords. They're going to change that by showing you there's all kinds of new and exciting things about you, reasons to be happy. This is also somebody who is always looking for new ways to communicate. So this is somebody who is very actively going to be providing you with that validation, with that motivation, and those kinds of things, kind of really be boosting you up. Boosting you up. And then you put that, then you put that with this one, where it's literally being rising up. Oh, your spouse, this is somebody who's going to be really good for you, good for your self-esteem, good for your confidence, and good if you deal with depression, or if an event happens that causes some kind of depressive moment. This is who you want to be with. You want to be with your person, because they're the ones who are going to help you to find that strength, or that confidence, or just to see the light sometimes is all we need, right? And I know this even more because we have intervention. This is the Tower. The Tower. This is an awesome card to show big change. One of the things I always like to point out with the Tower is, yes, it is big change, but it's also about rebuilding. I think your spouse is going to be very good for you on an emotional level. Very good for you on an emotional level. Very good. And wow, okay, I think so even more now because we have temperance, which is discernment in this deck. This is all about the harmony, kind of walking that fine balance, trying to make sure to keep everything in balance. So, if it's your moods maybe that are going in and out of balance, if it's the events in your life kind of swinging you both ways on the spectrum of emotions, that kind of a thing, your spouse is going to be keeping things balanced. This is going to be a big source of support for you. Your future spouse is very much that grounding kind of energy that, again, just helps balance everything. We need balance. We all need balance. If we're too far, the pendulum swings both ways. And if we're too far the other way, well, what's going to happen with the pendulum? Woo, it swings the other way. So, if it's good, if it's bad, and, blah, blah, blah. We want to be kind of, we want a good one every now and then, but we got to expect if it's all the way good all the time, it's going to be bad just as hard. Let's get some more. We want some more. Let's get some more information. All right. So we're talking about your future spouse. Let's see what we've got. Okay. 7 of Earth. So the 7 of Pentacles talks kind of about, waiting. It's just about waiting patiently. I think you're going to rely on your spouse quite a bit. This is some advice to you. Don't lose your confidence in your ability to solve your own problems, because I think your spouse is going to be very much a problem solver and wants to make sure everything is smooth and happy for you. That's great. That's a great thing. But don't lose your belief in yourself or the ability to see what you can do for yourself. Does that make sense? I mean, you don't want to just leave everything up to fate or up to another person's direction. Even though this person seems to handle it quite well for you, you definitely need to be an active participant, or you're going to be feeling like this over and over and over, like you lost your power, right? So that's not to say that your spouse is taking your power. Your spouse, he or she, is there definitely trying to help you maintain your power. Now, again, I'm not sure if it was an event or if it's just kind of like maybe a depressive kind of moment in your life. So let's ask about that. We want to know if it's some kind of, event or if this is just some kind of depression you've got going on at that time. Oh, it's an event. It is very much an event. We've got our Knight of Swords here. This is an event. So this isn't something talking about your overall mental health or anything in the future, like that. This confirms that it is probably an event. So something must go wrong, or something to deal with, or at least something that you perceive as something important to deal with. And your spouse is going to zoop in and really help keep that balance and help solve problems. I think that your spouse is also very much kind of keeping things even for you, meaning you might not even realize all that your spouse is doing to keep things smooth. Your spouse doesn't want to see you get upset. Your spouse doesn't want to see you fall into a moment of not being happy. Your spouse very much wants you to be happy. Oh, that's good. All right, so let's see what our outcome is. This is the cut card. So this is the middle of the deck, and this is going to be the energy of the outcome. Ready? All right. Oh, we've got the Father of Fire. That is the King of Wands. This is who we want to be. The King of Wands got it going on. This is a personality type, being a court card. And this is somebody who is very charismatic, somebody who really has all their stuff together, just really seems like nothing can go wrong for them. This is a positive, optimistic person. This is usually someone who's very attractive. People are drawn to him or her. And just because it's a king, it can be a woman as well. Kings just have a little bit more masculine energy, whereas queens have a little bit more feminine, but it's gender neutral. It could be a man or a woman. So keep that in mind. But anyway, this is somebody who is probably very attractive, very successful. And they are very much wanting to comfort you, make sure that you're happy. And the only advice that the tarot is making sure that you understand is to make sure that you don't lose your power in there. Don't forget that you have the ability to make yourself happy and to make yourself see how to come out of events or things that aren't going well. But if you rely too much on somebody else to do that, you know, just like a muscle, if you don't exercise your muscle, it's not as strong, right? So by somebody else kind of always balancing things for you, you might end up feeling like you don't know how to handle things when they happen. So just be aware of that, you know, with good communication and, you know, that whole give and take part of the relationship. I think with all of that, you are going to have a very successful relationship. And wow, what a great thing to have your spouse be so in tune to you that they really want to make sure that you're happy and doing everything they can. Ooh, this is good. All right. Well, pile 2, please drop a comment. I'd love to interact with you. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear. And if you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe and tap that bell. It means so much to me. And also, I never want you to miss out on a video. So that all being said, I want to thank you for letting me read for you. Hey, pile 3, let's find out what your future spouse is going to be like. Let's see what we've got. Oh, okay. We've got some good stuff going on here. We got some good stuff going on. All right. So our energy card. This card is judgment. So this is the energy that surrounds the question, and it will follow each of our other cards as a clarifier. So what this is telling me is that with your marriage, your spouse, you're going to feel like you've elevated yourself to a whole new level. This is kind of that feeling of being reborn, feeling like you're shedding all the things that didn't work for you in the past, and you are rising up in the light, in the sunshine. Clouds are gone. So that's an awesome energy for your spouse and you, for your marriage. I mean, that's awesome. Because, I mean, you want to feel always fresh and free and feeling like things, you're being brought to your highest level. We're here to bring the best out of each other, not to be the best for the other one in terms of, you know, I want you to love me, so I'm going to do these things. No, we're here to not only help other people, but we want to bring out the best in them. So we're supposed to be getting the best brought out in ourselves, and we're bringing out the best in our spouse, and that's exactly what this card is saying. Woo. And this one here, we've got the Four of Wands next, and the Four of Wands talks about a foundation. I think your spouse, he or she, is going to have their feet firmly planted on the ground and be very good in terms of, you know, life skills. Making sure that there's enough money, making sure that you are in a secure neighborhood, that you have what you need, those kinds of things, you know. So I think, you know, really has his or her feet on the ground, very much so. The one thing, though, about your future spouse, he or she's a little stingy. They like to hold on to their money. They are, you know, not stingy, and that's kind of got a little bit of a negative connotation to it, that word. But, you know, this might be somebody who's just frugal, you know. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's good to save money. It's good to not be overreaching when you're buying things and stuff like that. So this is a good thing still. So I do think, though, that they're going to be a little bit, well, stingy. All right, next, we have 2 cards here. We've got our Page of Cups, and we have our Death card. Death card, do not worry, nobody's dying. That is not what that means. In fact, it's actually a very good card. The reason I'm pulling them both up here together is I want to show you this one first, and then how they pair together. This Page of Cups is telling me that your spouse is likely going to be very introverted, a little bit more, you know, involved, maybe perhaps liking like cultural type of things like art and music and those kinds of things. But again, a little bit more withdrawn, and not in a bad sense where you can't ever get them to talk or anything like that, but they're just a little bit more introverted. how interesting, not only about holding back our money, which is pentacles, holding back maybe on some other things because they are introverted. We've got two kind of holding back type of cards. But I think that with being with you is going to help your spouse open up. That's why I wanted to show you these together. This is the death card. So again, nobody's dying, but it means the death of a chapter and the beginning of something new. I think that you bring out the best in your spouse and they are able to open up. Perhaps they're able to kind of loosen up a little bit, loosen up on the money thing, but also on being such an introvert, maybe opening up a little bit more. Imagine like a flower opening. That's kind of what I see when I'm looking at this. And a reborn. Now, looking at the death card, it doesn't look like, oh, that looks great. But it is great because it's about the death of something and the beginning of something else. So that is really great. Let's get a couple more. Let's see what else we can get. Okay. So we're going to see what else we can get about your future spouse. All right. What's this? What have we got? Woo, we have the strength card. Okay. Well, your future spouse is very clear about his or her feelings about you. They are very strong, as the name implied, strength. But they are very strong in their convictions. They are a very stable person. Again, they save money. They're certainly going to do well financially. I think you're going to be safe there. But they're going to definitely have be a source of strength in other areas. And I think you are going to be that source of strength to help them lighten up a little bit and come out of their shell. Let's get another one. All right, ready? Boom. We'll just pick that one. Queen of Wands. What? All right, so we've got our Queen of Wands here. Queen of Wands, this is who we want to be. This shows me that you're going to be really actively taking a part in the decision making, in the money making. You'll be bringing in some money as well. If you were planning on having children and things like that, well, this just shows this kind of woman, the Queen of Wands, it can do everything. Now, if you are a male and you're wanting to have children, obviously that would apply for you as well. Just because this is a queen doesn't mean it's a girl necessarily. It just means it has more female energy running through it, the card. So anyway, this shows me that you're going to be an active player, an active participant in the relationship. Remember what I said here too. You are going to be helping break your partner out of this kind of shell type of feeling. And that makes sense because you're the Queen of Wands. Ooh, this is good. Let's do an outcome. And we'll see. Oh, I actually already did the outcome, didn't I? Boy, that was smart of me. Anyway. All right. Well, pile 3, I hope this made sense for you. Please drop a comment. I would love to interact with you. Love to hear what you think about the reading and your future spouse. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit subscribe. It means so much to me, and I never want you to miss out on a video. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for letting me read for you.